My marketing tip this month is about utilizing the perception as that tool, meaning that the perception that you want to create in the mind of the target reader is what then they will be engaged with. And when you fulfill that, when they read the book, then they'll want to go on to your next book and your next one. But the key is finding what that is, because I feel so often that people think, oh, this is my new story and everybody's going to love it and I'll write all the copy and they'll see why I wrote it and what I thought of it. Hmm. This is about understanding the target reader and understanding how their perception is going to be met. So, with that in mind, your marketing strategy must include three things to be able to achieve that. The first one is really having a description of your target reader. Who are you going after? Who do you think will love your book? Because the idea of everyone is not true. Because everybody has a different genre they like or subgenre that they like. Everybody has a different opinion of reading long passages of description or they just want action, right? So the idea of how I craft that message to get my target readers interested in my book, the idea is that I need to make sure that the perception that I'm creating of what they're going to get from the book will be rewarding enough for them that they will want to read it and they'll want to read more of my stories, right? So here's three things that I would like for you to consider. First, I mentioned you have to know who you're writing the book for because the idea of that everybody's going to read it, no. You are actually writing to someone who's a lot like you, look in the mirror, because you wrote the story because it engaged you and your imagination. But you might like mysteries. Whereas I have a friend that when I mentioned I was going to write a mystery, she goes, oh, I don't like mysteries. I don't ever read them. I was like, okay, that's not my target reader then. The idea is making sure you know so that they feel when they pick that up and start to read it that it was written for them and for their entertainment. So the first step is that target reader and really understanding who they are and what will engage their imagination and their perception of what they'll get from your book. The second one is, why do readers want to read your book? Do you understand what that is about your book that is special enough to present to a target reader to get them to read it? And really, what they can expect should be formulated in your book hook. You know, that 8-second quick uh, hook that says, it intrigues the person to want to read it. So if that's the case, you need to know what that is as far as why will they want to read it? Because of what? And that 8-second book hook is one that they will immediately say, "Oh, that's something I would really like to read." Now, the third one is really about how your reader wants to feel after reading your book. And you go, "What?" One of the worst things is to have someone that reads it and goes, this isn't anything like what they described it as or what the hook was or whatever. That's the worst thing. If they don't feel that they got what they had as the perception of what your book was going to give them, then the idea is you could get a bad review, or you could also make sure that they never want to pick it up and they tell others, don't bother. This is not what, it's not what this says. So where does that information come from? How is it going to make them feel? That's the back of your book. You know, that description of what if they read this. It's more the 30-second elevator pitch, I call it. So if I have an 8-second hook, that's important. Now I want them to read on more to see if they're really interested in reading my book. And I want to give them all the good scoop that is going to make them really excited because they know they're going to feel so satisfied after the romp of my book, right? So with that in mind, I do need that 8 seconds, the hook, and then I need a 30-second elevator pitch, which is about 50 to 75 words of description, and that typically is on the back cover of your book. And that's, how we do. We pick up a book, we see it, the title, the cool book cover, we flip it over, we look and see what it says on the back. So with that in mind, Your three things are making sure you know your target reader. This second piece about the book hook, if you can get that book hook to really match why they should want to read it, and then follow up with how they're going to feel once they do with that information from the back of the book, then I've got someone that wants to go to that first chapter and start. And if it's good, they bought it.